For years, every time Offset found himself in another cheating scandal, one rumor refused to die. And it always led back to City. Well, I mean, speaking of rappers other people's girls, yeah, you actually put out that Offset. Chris Sean, Ari Fletcher, what's up, man? Sweetie, 10 from Starlets. The internet ran with it. Blogs amplified it. Timelines exploded with accusations that Psy had crossed a line with Cardi B's husband. But here's the part most people ignore. No proof was ever shown. Offset denied it. Cardi denied it. City never publicly confirmed anything. Yet the narrative kept growing until Cardi finally had something to say. This is what actually happened between Cardi B, City, and Offset. What everybody said. The accusations came from everywhere, and they came over years. Each one added a layer. Each one named the same people, and none of them came with proof. It started in August 2022 with a Twitter user accused Offset of sleeping with City during a heated exchange with Cardi B online. The user was antagonizing Cardi over unrelated legal issues and escalated by making the allegation. Cardi responded in a series of tweets. She called the claims lies. She said no blogs or sources had reported it. She told the user they were fabricating stories and dragging female rappers into it with no receipts. 2 months later, in October 2022, Quavo and Takeoff released the track Messy from their joint project, Only Built for Infinity Links. On the song, Quavo rapped lines that fans connected to the allegation. He referenced someone close to him being intimate with his ex behind his back. The internet filled in the blanks. Offset was the dog. Sawi was the ex. The Migos split, which had happened months earlier in May 2022, was now being reframed as a consequence of betrayal rather than business. By August 2025, DJ Academics went further than anyone before him. On a widely watched interview, he named City alongside Christian Rock, Ari Fletcher, and others as women Offset had allegedly been with during his marriage to Cardi. Well, I mean, speaking of rappers, other people's girls, yeah. You actually put out that Offset, Chris Sean, Ari Fletcher, what's up, man? Sweetie, 10 from Starlets. The interviewer pushed for more, and he said there's 2 more names that I don't even want to mention. When I heard those names, I was flabbergasted. So in our usual fashion, yeah. You know how you and I rock. Yeah. I want you to tell me those 2 names. Academics said he assumed the information was common knowledge. He described being caught off guard by how big the reaction was. So I just thought I thought everybody knew this. So when I said it, I didn't know all these female pages were like, what? Oh, he characterized what happened next as accidental. So I broke some news, I guess. 2 names. Did I feel bad? In September 2025, rapper 6ix8ix99 publicly accused Offset of sleeping with City and linked it to the Migos' dissolution. In November 2025, rapper YG, who had briefly dated City in 2023, dissed Offset in a freestyle, referencing both City and Cardi's then-boyfriend Stefon Diggs. Then on Valentine's Day 2026, Nicki Minaj fan account on X posted a photo claiming City and Offset had made their relationship official. The post hit 9 million views, 200 likes, and hundreds of replies. The photo was actually of Cardi B and Offset from Valentine's Day 2022, taken during a surprise Offset had arranged involving thousands of roses, Chanel bags, and a $375,000 watch. The account had misidentified the people in the image to manufacture a story. Replies called it out, but by then, nearly 2 million people had already seen it. Quavo's bars, Academics' broadcast, 6ix8ix99's accusations, YG's freestyle, a fabricated Valentine's Day post. That is the full list of public claims, and not a single one of them came with evidence. But the people at the center of the story still had to respond. And that is where things get complicated. The Migos fracture. To understand why the Offset SEI allegation gained so much traction, you have to understand the fracture that tore the Migos apart. A rupture that left fans desperate for answers and willing to accept almost any explanation, no matter how unverified. The Migos, Quavo, Offset, and the late Takeoff were not just a rap group. They were family. Quo is Takeoff's uncle. Offset is their cousin. Their bond was forged in blood, not contracts, which made their split in May 2022 feel seismic. They had dominated hip-hop together for nearly a decade, reshaping the sound of trap music and becoming one of the most commercially successful groups of their generation. When Quavo and Takeoff began releasing music as a duo under the name Unk and Few, the silence from Offset was deafening. No public statement, no explanation, just absence. City's connection to this world began in the summer of 2018 when she starred as the love interest in Quo's solo music video for Work and Me. What started as a professional collaboration turned into a 3-year relationship defined by luxury, public affection, and shared celebrity. Quavo reportedly slid into her DMs with a snowflake emoji, a nod to her Icy Girl brand. And by the fall of 2018, they were one of hip-hop's most visible couples. He gifted her a $75 diamond snowflake pendant for Christmas. She gifted him Bentleys. They attended award shows together, made music together, and quarantined together during the pandemic. Then in March 2021, City announced the breakup on Twitter, writing that she had endured too much betrayal and hurt behind the scenes. Leaked elevator video showing a physical altercation between them made the split irreversible. And when Quo dropped those loaded bars on Messi, fans latched on to the most scandalous interpretation available. The idea that Offset had slept with City, Quavo's ex-girlfriend of 3 years, was too dramatic, too fitting, too perfectly devastating for the internet to resist. It offered a clean narrative. Betrayal caused the breakup. One brother crossed the other. The family collapsed. But Offset told a different story entirely. In his sit-down with Keke Palmer, he was asked directly whether business people had exploited the rift between him and Quo Manufacturing Division to weaken them. "You think there were business people that were plotting on you both?" "For sure." "Yeah. And they were creating you guys, stopping you guys from being strong so that y'all couldn't go together against that." Offset agreed without hesitation. He pointed to the business side, labeled disputes, financial disagreements, and the kind of industry manipulation that has dismantled countless groups before. He described the Sawi allegation as a convenient distraction, one that drew attention away from the real structural issues that pulled the Migos apart. "I would be seeing headlines, and I men me, we men, so we don't play those games. We don't even know how to do that." And so it was just like, that was a weird thing, though, that he described feeling bewildered by the gossip machinery that had attached itself to their breakup. As men, he said they did not know how to navigate a narrative being constructed around them in real time. The headlines kept coming, the accusations kept circulating, and he and Quavo were left trying to process a family split while the internet turned it into entertainment. The tragedy of Takeoff's death in November 2022 added an unbearable weight to this already fractured situation. Takeoff was shot and killed at a Houston bowling alley in an incident completely unrelated to the group's internal drama. He was 28 years old. His passing devastated the hip-hop community and left a permanent wound in the lives of everyone who knew him, particularly Quo and Offset, who were still estranged at the time. Offset revealed to Keke Palmer that he carried guilt over Takeoff's death. Guilt rooted in the belief that if he had still been around, if the Migos had never split, the circumstances that led to that night might have been different. I felt like I had that, some responsibility was on me, because what if I didn't go solo? What if I just thugged it out with the business not being right? This was a confession that went far deeper than any cheating allegation. Offset was wrestling with the possibility that his decision to pursue solo work, a decision driven by legitimate business grievances, may have inadvertently set in motion a chain of events that ended in tragedy. You know what I mean? Maybe we wouldn't even been right there in that place because I just know how we move when I'm around a little bit. It's just I could read the room a little bit more and see, hey, this ain't the play. We need to get up out of here. He described himself as the person in the group who would call out danger, who would read a room and say it was time to leave. Without him there, he wondered if things might have unfolded differently. That burden, the guilt of absence, the helplessness of hindsight. I'm the one that act that's going to say it, and then I wasn't there. So it's like not having control or something like that. So close to you is what Offset was carrying, while the internet debated whether he slept with his cousin's ex-girlfriend. The public conversation was fixated on gossip. His private reality was grief. Reports indicate that Quavo and Offset reportedly fought backstage at the 2023 Grammys during a tribute to Takeoff, with sources suggesting Quavo blocked Offset from performing. But by 2024 and 2025, The two had begun reconciling. They performed together sporadically, and Offset made clear that whatever caused their rift, it was not seedy. It was business. It was industry politics. It was the kind of thing that does not make for a viral tweet, but destroys families all the same. Cardi, City, and the Oscars. In March 2024, both Cardi B and City attended the Vanity Fair Oscars after party. What happened that night, or what did not happen, became another chapter in the ongoing speculation about their relationship. And like every chapter before it, it was built more on interpretation than on fact. Cardi went on Instagram Live after the event. During the stream, she answered a phone call and mentioned running into someone at the party. Do we have audio on the phone? Yeah. I definitely ran into somebody. You know me. That was all she said on the subject during the live. She did not name anyone. She did not provide details. She told the person on the other end of the call that she would share the full story later off camera. I don't play that, but I'll call you later because I'm going to lie. I'll tell you all the Tiana later. That was it. A vague phone call on a live stream. But fans needed very little to construct a narrative. Around the same time, City posted a tweet that read, "I'm really just a bad Amnurisha. That mind her business. If you don't like me, that's on you and your mama, boo." So, after that, her fans started speculating who she was talking about, and they was assuming that she was talking about Sweetie. The speculation hinged on one thing. A tweet Psy posted around the same time. Because Sweetie had tweeted, "I'm really just a bad stories that mind her business. If you don't like me, that's on you and your mama, boo." The timing was enough for fans to connect the two events. Cardi says she ran into somebody. City posts about minding her business. The conclusion was immediate. They must have had a confrontation. Reports began circulating that Cardi had approached City and yelled in her face, demanding to know what she had to say. Nah, but the insider, explained Cardi saw Sweetie and supposedly she went over to her and started yelling in her face, "What you got to say now?" Or something like that. See, they be Ming the math, I guess. But that story was challenged almost immediately. Another artist, K Barbie, shut it down entirely, stating that Cardi never even spoke to City at the party. But then Ken Barbie, who is another artist, quickly shut that rumor down, claiming that Cardi never even spoke to the girl. See, math don't be Ming now. This is the pattern that has defined the entire Cardi City narrative. An ambiguous moment gets spotted. Fans project meaning onto it. Gossip sites amplify the projection and someone has to step in to say it never happened. Card's handling of the City situation has been consistent throughout. She has never named City in a direct accusation. She has never posted about her. She has never released a diss track aimed at her. What she has done is speak in general terms about betrayal, terms that fans have interpreted as coded references to SI, but which Cardi herself has never confirmed. In January 2023, Cardi addressed the allegations on the Jason Lee show. She did not name City. She did not confirm anything. She said she chose silence because she was investigating the truth herself. There was this song that Quo had, and the song was called Miss. The internet was talking and you were quiet. I was quiet because one thing I'm going to do, I'm going to find out the truth. That was Card's approach. She did not react publicly. She did not slam City. She did not post about it. She said she went looking for the truth on her own terms. And you know that I was finding out that truth. If I entertain something that I know is not true on the internet, people be like, "Oh, it is true because you're addressing." Cardi described the trap of being a public figure dealing with allegations like this. If she responded, people would take that as confirmation. If she stayed quiet, people would take that as confirmation too. But when I don't address it, it's truth as well. So I'm like, you know what? I'm just not going to entertain. And at the end of the day, I know what's going on in my house. In a 2025 interview with Kelly Rowland, Cardi implied that female rappers she had supported had turned around and slept with her husband. She did not name names. Fans immediately pointed to City. But Cardi had mentioned similar sentiments before. And her album, Am I the Drama, released in September 2025, contained tracks that fans interpreted as indirect dices towards Saweetie. References to icy aesthetics and betrayal by supported artists. She named Bea explicitly on the album. She did not name City, she did not name JT. The ambiguity was deliberate, and through it all, City has maintained a posture of detachment. She has not responded directly to the album. She has not addressed the cheating allegations head-on. At the Ebony Power 100 Gala, when asked about Cardi, City kept it simple. What? What is one thing we don't know about Cardi? She's a really sweet and down-to-earth girl. No shade, no tension, just a compliment delivered with a smile. Whether that reflected genuine warmth or strategic neutrality, it stood in stark contrast to the war fans were waging on both their behalf. The dynamic between these two women has been described by insiders as lukewarm at best. Not hostile, not friendly, just distant. They have never collaborated musically. Despite SETI confirming in 2021 that their teams had been in talks about working together and waiting for the right record, that collaboration never materialized. Neither has the feud fans keep insisting exists. Card's sister, Hennessy Carolina, shut down speculation of any rivalry around the same time, calling it unfounded. And in the early days before the Offset allegations took hold, Saweetie addressed feud rumors on The Breakfast Club, making clear that there was no beef between her and Cardi. She spoke about mutual respect, shared spaces at award shows, and the possibility of a future collaboration that simply had not found the right moment yet. That moment never came. And as the allegations grew, whatever slim possibility of a professional partnership existed between them quietly evaporated. Not because of anything either woman said, but because the internet had already written a story, neither of them could outrun Offset's history and his response. The SEI allegation did not exist in a vacuum. It landed with such force precisely because Offset had a long-documented and self-admitted history of cheating on Cardi B. The claim about City was just one more name on a list that had been growing since 2017. A list Offset himself has acknowledged in broad terms, even as he denied the specific claim about City. The timeline of Offset's infidelity scandals is extensive and deeply intertwined with his marriage to Cardi. Videos surfaced as early as September 2017, days after their secret wedding, allegedly showing him with another woman. He blamed hackers. In December 2017, more footage leaked, and model Selena Powell claimed she was pregnant with his child. In January 2018, while Cardi was pregnant with Culture, additional cheating videos emerged. By mid-2018, model Summer Bunny publicly apologized to Cardi for her involvement in an affair with Offset. In December 2018, Cardi announced their first split. Offset crashed her Rolling Loud performance with a massive floral display, begging for forgiveness. They reconciled by February 2019. They split again in September 2020. Reconciled again in October 2020. Split once more in December 2023. Cardi filed for divorce a second time in August 2024, hours after announcing her third pregnancy. This is the context in which the Saweetie allegation thrived. Offset's pattern of infidelity was so well established, so frequently exposed that any new accusation, however baseless, carried automatic credibility with the public. When someone said Offset cheated with Saweetie, the reaction was not surprised. It was a resignation. But in his Keke Palmer interview, Offset did something he had rarely done before. He accepted full responsibility for the destruction of his marriage, and he denied the City claim directly. Was it true to you and Sweetie? No, man. It was a rumor, man. And I feel like it was something deeper than that for the split of me and bro. He said it plainly. Then he went further, taking accountability for everything else. I don't really want to touch on, but it's something deeper than that. I think that was just like that was a thing it was a bug that I heard. I think people was trying to tear my situation down in that situation. And when the conversation shifted to Cardi, there was no deflection, no blaming the internet, no pivoting to her behavior. That's why when she left, I had to take that on a chin because I could have been way so much our kids to live for. I was being selfish. He said he should have respected her more. He said his decisions were bad. He said he had to accept the consequences. And I can say that as a man. I'm a grown man. You know what I mean? I can say that he acknowledged that his selfishness cost him his family. He acknowledged that his children, Culture, Wave, and Blossom deserved better. He did not qualify it. He did not minimize it. He called it selfish, and he said he had to take it on the chin. What made this moment significant was not just the admission. Offset had acknowledged cheating before in vague terms. It was the clarity and the calm with which he delivered it. This was not a man caught in a scandal trying to do damage control. This was a man reflecting on years of choices and arriving at an uncomfortable but honest conclusion. He also addressed the toll that public scrutiny had taken on him throughout the entire ordeal. The constant speculation, the headlines, the social media pile-ons, all of it had pushed him to react in ways he regretted. I wish it wasn't so much internet stuff going on. I didn't got out of pocket a couple times because, bro, it feel like you're getting bullied, like I used to never say nothing. He described a man who had tried to stay silent, who had tried to let things pass, but who eventually reached a breaking point where the bullying became too much to ignore. That is a recognizable experience for anyone who has watched their life become public property. The slow erosion of patience, the moments where you snap and say something you should not have, the regret that follows. The radio hosts who played the interview on their morning show noted that Offset's words carried a weight that went beyond the usual celebrity apology circuit. One host remarked that Offset expressed he was ready for the divorce to be over, and that he hated the fact that the public story of his relationship with Cardi was defined by scandal rather than by what they had built together, the music, the family, the partnership. Another host reflected on the broader lesson, noting that too many men recognize what they have lost only after it is gone. That the opportunity to do right by a partner does not last forever. And that when a woman reaches the point of being truly done, there is no gesture grand enough to undo the damage. The interview also highlighted just how much the internet had warped Offset's public image. He admitted to general infidelity. He admitted to selfishness. He admitted to failing as a husband. But the specific claim about Saweetie, the one that generated the most headlines, the most fan theories, the most content, was the one he flatly denied. And that distinction matters because in a culture that treats all accusations as equally valid, the difference between what Offset actually did and what the internet decided he did has been completely erased. As of early 2026, the divorce remains unresolved. Reports suggest Cardi has not signed the final papers, meaning she remains legally married to Offset despite moving on romantically. Their 3 children remain the connective tissue between two people who cannot seem to fully separate no matter how many times they try. Where things stand now. Cardi B moved on from Offset, or at least she tried to. In late 2024, she began dating NFL wide receiver Stefon Diggs. What followed was a whirlwind that compressed an entire relationship arc from first sighting to pregnancy to parenthood to breakup into roughly 12 months. They were first spotted arriving separately at a Miami hotel on Valentine's Day 2025. By May, they were courtside at an NBA playoff game, cuddling and kissing for cameras. In June, Cardi made it Instagram official with a yacht photo. In September, she announced on CBS Mornings that she was pregnant with Diggs' child, a baby boy born in November 2025. She called the pregnancy a blessing and praised Diggs as supportive. They attended games together. They traveled together. For a moment, it looked like Cardi had found something stable. Then came February 2026 in Super Bowl LX. Cardi performed during Bad Bunny's halftime show. Diggs played for the New England Patriots, who lost to the Seattle Seahawks. After the game, fans noticed they had unfollowed each other on Instagram. Sources told Entertainment Tonight the split had happened recently. Reports suggested Diggs felt used as a rebound, that Cardi was still healing from Offset and had never fully separated from him, emotionally or legally. That legal piece created its own complications. Because Cardi reportedly had not signed the final divorce papers from Offset, she remained legally married to him throughout her entire relationship with Diggs. Reports circulated that her son with Diggs legally bears Offset's last name as a result of the unresolved marriage. Offset posted cryptic messages hinting at reconciliation. The mess deepened. Meanwhile, the Saweetie angle continued generating content. Card's album, Am I the Drama, released in September 2025, gave fans more material to dissect. Tracks referencing icy aesthetics and betrayal by artists Cardi had supported were immediately read as city dissies. In a 2025 interview with Kelly Rowland, Cardi implied that female rappers she had championed had turned around and slept with her husband. She did not name anyone, but the fan base filled in the blank with Saweetie's name, the same way they had been doing since 2022. Saweetie, for her part, has remained focused on her music. She has not responded to the album. She has not addressed the cheating allegations publicly. She has not engaged with any of the figure's academics 66699YG who have invoked her name in their own conflicts. She has posted about minding her business. She has declined to be drawn into what she has reportedly described as someone else's marriage mess. And when given a direct opportunity to say something about Cardi at the Ebony Power 100 Gala, she called her sweet and down-to-earth. Offset, meanwhile, has expressed openness to reconciling with Cardi while touring as a solo artist. He and Quavo have performed together sporadically, hinting at mended fences. Though no full Migos reunion has occurred, he continues to carry the public weight of his admitted infidelity, even as he denies the specific allegation that has defined the narrative more than any other. As of February 15, 2026, this is where things stand. Cardi is single, legally married, raising 4 children, and coming off a breakup with Diggs. Offset is single, open to reunion, and still denying City. City is single, focused on her career, and saying nothing. The story that connected all 3 of them was never confirmed by any of them, but it has taken on a life of its own, sustained by fan accounts, content creators, rival rappers, and an internet that has never needed proof to build a narrative. The question that the title of this video asks, did Cardi B slam City for stealing Offset? Has a simple answer. Based on every available source, she did not. But the story that made people believe she did is far more complicated than any headline could capture. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed watching this video, click on one of the boxes playing on your screen to watch more similar content.